or I should say, not how to get the bullet into the chamber, but what to do in order to fire the bullet. Now, if it's single action, once you get the bullet into the chamber over here, that's the firing chamber, you actually have to pull the hammer back, and then when you pull the trigger, the hammer will hit there and hit the primer and cause the bullet to come out. In the Wild West, that is what some of the guns were. Again, these are the early days of handguns. So they actually had single action, where if you could see how the fast draw worked, at least with some of the guns, again, they did get more advanced even in the Wild West. As you lifted up the gun and aimed it, you slapped back this hammer and pulled the trigger immediately afterwards. And if you did it faster than the other guy, well, you probably killed him and he couldn't kill you. Anyway, that was a single action. We actually had to pull the thing back in order to get everything in place so that you can pull the trigger. You have to actually perform other actions in order to get that trigger get the bullet ready to be fired by pulling the trigger. But most handguns these days, they use a double action where when you pull the trigger, either that itself causes the hammer to go back, so you don't need to do anything else, or more likely, the firing the bullet caused all kinds of changes in here, so that the hammer was pulled back enough that all you need to do is fire the bullet, press the trigger again. So pulling the trigger once was enough to cause everything to get into place. So you just pull the trigger once, again and again and again. You didn't have to pull back the hammer or move anything else into place. That makes a double action. Does everything. Gets everything ready. It sends off the bullet and gets everything ready for the next shot. That's the double action. Again, I'm simplifying it. And then there's the kind of shot, meaning how many the way the bullet comes out. There's a single shot. Again, it's not common these days for a gun to have only one bullet. Now there are secretive CIA weapons where it's concealed in a pen where all you have is one shot. They also have undersea weapons that if they're in an emergency, let's say a shark is attacking, they have this stick that it only has one shot, but you press the stick into the shark and it'll shoot a bullet right into the shark. So in an emergency, you can destroy any dangerous wild creature. I forgot what it was called, but anyway, it's rare to have a gun that only gives off one shot, unless it's like a secret weapon or something like that. Back in the day, Old West again, they had something called the Derringer, which was often used as an assassination kind of a gun. It was held by women also. It was a very small gun, but it could only hold one bullet. So that's what helped make it small and light. It held one bullet. You pull the trigger once, and after that you would have to reload everything. So we don't really have that much, but they do exist. At least we don't have that in handguns. Usually handguns you want to fire several shots, one after the other. So the next, after the single shot, would come the revolver. That is where, this is not a revolver, it's a semi-automatic, and let's get a picture of the revolver again. That is where you pull the trigger and the next bullet revolves so that it, let's say here you shoot this one off, the next one, it'll revolve so the next one gets into the firing chamber so that the hammer will hit it and it'll be able to go out for the next shot. So you're ready. Pull the trigger, it'll go to the next one. Pull the trigger, it'll go to the next one. Okay, that is what makes it a again, we call it a revolver. We'd rather not call it a semi-automatic in order to differentiate from this kind of a gun. But it is technically a semi-automatic, meaning it does not keep firing bullets when you keep holding the trigger. You have to pull the trigger each time you want to send a bullet out. So it's semi-automatic. An automatic pistol, or it could be also a machine pistol, depending on the rate of fire. That is when you hold back you pull back the trigger. The way the mechanism works, the bullets are constantly being fed and shooting out over and over and over, even though you pull the trigger only once. And a machine pistol, they even have machine guns that are in the form of a pistol. They fire at a faster rate than an automatic pistol. But they have the basic same idea. Pull the trigger once, several bullets come out. Now, how do you reload these things? Now, for the semi-automatic, this kind, as we saw over here, when the bullets are gone, you just take another one of these square magazines, they're called, and that's full of bullets, and you shove it, well, you pull this one out, you shove the new magazine back in, and it'll automatically get this bullet into the right place. And actually, I think you have to pull it back and bolt together, but never mind. The bullet goes into the right place, and you're ready to fire off another 9 shots. You've just reloaded. For the revolver, it's a little bit more complicated because you don't have this like long magazine. You don't necessarily have it. It's in a round form over here. So how those are reloaded, you have like the swing out, the break top, or the solid frame. But let's take a look at what that would look like. Hang on. Okay. The swing out is when this entire, revolving area swings out. So now you have plenty of room in which to pull out each of these bullets, or to shake out the bullets and put in the new ones. That's how you reload it. You swing this out. Now you have this, like, this barrel that with all your 6 bullets or whatever it is. I can't really draw that very well, but you have your 6 bullets, let's say, over there. Pull out the 6 bullets or shake them all out, and you reload them with other bullets. They do exist speed loaders, where you just pull this whole thing out, and you shove another one of these whole things that's loaded back in, and then you swing it back in, and you're ready to go. So that is how you reload a revolver when you run out of bullets. There's also the break top. Let's getting back to this picture. That's instead of swinging this thing out, you can actually fold this whole thing over. So let's say there's a hinge over here. You fold it over. So you fold it over like this. So this part is facing up, and you just shake out the bullets, and then you pull it and put in new bullets. Or you can take the whole speed loader and then you throw the whole speed loader right on top of it. You click the thing back so that it's in this fully assembled state, and then you're ready to go to shoot your fully loaded revolver. So that's how you reload the semi-automatic and the revolver. Those are 2 ways. Now, back in the day, the Old West again, they didn't necessarily have the swing out. Again, the technology wasn't available. I'm sure they didn't take them too long to make it, but anyway, so they actually they fired it. They actually swung the cylinder, I think it's called. They pulled out the bullets one by one, or maybe they shook them out one after the other, but whatever it is, they pulled out the bullets, and they inserted the bullets again. See, that kind of reloading is like they call it the solid frame, because you can't like fold it over and put the bullets in from the top, or swing it out and put the bullets on the side. You had to actually remove the bullets. It was solid frame. You couldn't change the shape of the gun. You couldn't like fold it in any way, and you just pulled out the bullets one by one and inserted them one by one. So those are the less advanced kind of handguns that they had back in the day. Nowadays they generally swing out, or they sometimes break open from the forward. But anyway, those are the ways they were loaded. These are different kinds of guns, and different manufacturers make them different ways. So again, you should know about that, know what kind of gun was used, and maybe you can also know what they needed to do. Like, for example, a revolver where 20 bullets were shot. You know the guy had to reload, and you might even be looking for speed loaders or for empty cartridges because you know they had to reload. So you also know that they must have gotten in there with a lot of extra ammunition. Now, did they when they walked into the house, let's say where they did the crime, did it look like they were overloaded with weight because the bullets take up some weight? I mean, again,